Well, hello, my YouTube fellas and gals. So, if you're new to my channel, hi, my name's Tammy, and welcome. Please leave a comment below so I can interact with you back, because I love hearing from people who watch my videos and live streams. So, I am on lot 1 of religious books this week, and these are all going to be hardbacks at $3 a piece. And if you want to get in touch with me for any reason, to order books or anything, I'll load them to my Etsy and I sell them as a special order there where people can pick them up. You can reach me at tammysmakeuptreats@gmail.com or Minda's Bookstore and more on Facebook. And I do ship media, so you get the cheapest prices. So, let's get on. And even if you don't order books from me and use a gadget like, your phone app or a Kindle Nook, whatever's out there now that you can read off of, you can use me also as a resource center to find these books. So this is called The Woman at the Well by Dale Evan Rogers. It's got a little tear there. It looks like it might have been a library book. And there's some markers, what the book looks like. This is a 1970 book. I think the jacket preserved it pretty well. Get some ink back here, and of course these come off. These are just my little receipts. So this is what book 1 is about. Dale Evans Rogers at last tells, this is Roy Rogers' wife, by the way, tells her own story in this inspiring and entertaining book. Her account is one of modern women at the well, the testimony of extraordinary women of faith who drank deeply of the water given by Christ and who now invites others to drink at the well. Beginning with her birth in 1912 as Frances Octavia Smith in Uvalde, Texas, Miss Evans describes with humor and compassion her turbulent childhood as a strong-headed little rebel. Her first marriage ended in divorce when her son Tom was just 6 months old and she was just 16. She tells how she met Roy Rogers when they were making their first movie together, The Cowboy and the Senorita. It was considerably later in 1947 that Roy asked Dale to marry him. "What are you doing New Year's Eve?" Her answer was rather vague, since the date was yet months off. "Well then, why don't we get married?" And they did. At the Flying L Ranch in Oklahoma, that day began a lifelong partnership between two people whose strong common bonds were trust and faith in the Lord and the deep love for all of his children. It was Tom who first encouraged his mother to come to know the Lord. In her own words, "An indescribable peace washed over my heart. As I got up from my knees, I felt as though a crushing burden had fallen from my back and shoulders. How great it was to be alive and free. How great thou art." Dale Evans Roberts' deep understanding of God's world and her talent of communicating that knowledge to children is charmingly told when her daughter, Dodie, part of Choctaw Indian by birth, asked Dale why his skin was so white compared to her own. In Dale's words, "I explained then that the world is God's garden and that in his garden he has many varieties of animals and plants and people, and that it would be terribly dull in the garden if we were exactly all the same color and if we all had the same physical characteristics." She bought that. The deaths of her beloved children and many never retold personal experiences comprise a great part of this book. And at last we have the opportunity to share her story with her. This true story will bring tears, smiles, and challenges to the hearts of all who will read it. So this sounds like a very good book and very deep. So that's book number 1. Book number 2, we have Beyond Barriers, Overcoming Hard Times Through Tough Faith by Harold Morris. It's got some marker in it. It's what the book looks like. This is a 1987 copyright. This is what it's about. As a young man, he traded a bright future for the bright lights, but life in the fast lane ended abruptly when he was fingered for armed robbery and murder, mistakenly sentenced to a double life term at the state penitentiary. There, sandwiched between two killers on death row, he thought his life was over. It was only through extended conversations with loving friends and family members that he finally fell to his knees in his roach-infested cell and opened his heart to his Savior. And beyond the barriers, Morris now details how he overcame the incredible barriers through tough faith. Indeed, he talks about God and grace, life and love, as only an ex-con can. In this incidental look at life on both sides of prison bars, Morris describes a parade of hurting and heartwarming people, of mixing large shares of bravado and desperado, laughter and lunacy, tears and tenderness. The pages come alive with old grizzled convicts and young deserted orphans, with tough acting teens and putty-hearted toughs. Many of these real people, both young and old, have endured every human disadvantage possible, yet refuse to accept defeat. Through their lives, you'll see glimpses of your own. Through their hardships, you'll find answers to your own. So there you go. Book number 2. Book number 3, we actually have the Bible. This is the New International Version. It's got a little bit of mark out there. And this is containing the Old and New Testament. And it is a 1984 book. And well, I don't have a synopsis to sum this up. This is just the Bible. You learn about God, His Son, all the stories in between of how the world has grown, and all the good stuff. So that's the best synopsis I can possibly give. So there's book number 3. Book number 4 doesn't have a jacket. It's called The Cross on the Drum. Oh, I wrote one. There's marker, because sometimes if a book doesn't have it, I'll read it. Read the synopsis, or I'll just read the contents. This is a 1957 book. A strange young man, Barry Clinton, unlike most young missionaries who come to the island to save souls, this one had come with a belligerent skepticism and a driving determination to battle sickness and starvation. He had come to the lewd event with a Bible and a few meager medical supplies, ready to make the little Caribbean island a better place in which to live. So that's what this book is about. And then here is book number 5. This is The Quest for Light. Definitely looks like it was library bound, or somebody took good care of it. It's a 1972 book, and that's what this is about. In an afflicted, weary, and strife-torn world, everyone is seeking peace, which, however, eludes him in the manifold efforts. None is happy in this phenomenal world. The rich are unhappy, the poor are in agony. Neither erudition nor intellect brings peace any nearer. Lust, anger, pride, greed, and attachment take their heavy toll and make one's life miserable. In a world where mothers are bereft of their children, where children are made orphans, where the countless women are made widows, where country after country is devastated, killing millions in the process, there truly can be no respite. Saints who are messengers of God, however, after a healing balm to one and all, they have the real philosopher's stone that transmutes base metal into gold. They release us from the eternal bondage of birth and death and travails attendant upon them. The way they do so through joining our soul current with a word that constantly reverberates in our foreheads. When the mind tastes the sweetness of the divine melody, it forsakes forever the pleasures of the world, which then become utterly insipid and tasteless. This is an ancient wisdom that sons of gods of all ages come to propagate. The human form, the master, and the sound current are the 3 essentials for transforming man into God while still living. This marvelously illuminating book, which gives excerpts from letters written by master to peoples in different continents, states in eloquent and straightforward style of the timelessly true teachings of the only way to God. Although never the popular path for convention, it is never hidden except for the unwilling. Here it is to express it such a clear and simple words that it must appeal immediately to every sincere soul, for they are the words of the man who is God himself. So there you go. Book 5. Book number 6. We have a cute little board book of Adam and Eve for kids. It's got these cute little flips when it tells the story. This is a 2012 copyright. And it says, children's best loved stories and favorite characters of the Bible come to life in these engaging interactive storybooks that have built-in surprises throughout. Collect them all. And this is the story of Adam and Eve. So there you go. Book 6. Book number 7. Nice blue linen book. It's got something about the author in here. His name is Gideon Bill Williamson. This looks like it was signed by the author. This is a 1952 copyright. It's called Overseers of the Flock by G.B. Williamson, of course. And since I do not have a synopsis on this, I will show you the contents of what the book is about. The contents are, you have the preface and Holy Calling. Section 1 is the pastor's personal life. Chapter 1, the man himself. Chapter 2, his home. Chapter 3, his time. Chapter 4, his money. Section 2, you have the pastor preacher. You have the primacy of preaching, the preparation of the sermon, the delivery of the sermon, the pastor's preaching program, the pastor evangelist. Then you have the pastor priest, leading the church in worship, conducting the midweek service, special occasions, other special occasions. Then you have the pastor shepherd, pastoral visitation, organizing the church for visitation, evangelism, a spiritual counselor. Then you have his guiding principles and qualifications, the pastor and his fellow helpers, keeping the membership roll. Then you have advertising the church, building a new church, the pastor and his denominational relationships, the pastor and his ministerial co-workers, the pastor and his worldwide parish, the pastoral succession, the pastor and his community obligations. So this would be really cool for somebody who was going to study to be a pastor, or if you want to learn what a pastor does. So that is book 7. Book number 8 is something really cute that could be gifted to someone. This is called After the Tassel is Moved, Guidelines for High School Graduates by Lois O. Caldwell. This is what the book looks like. I'm not sure what that little mark is. Usually I have these books cleaned. Okay, so this is a 1990 book, and this is what it says. The classic gift book for graduates is now better than ever. This revised edition is redesigned, updated, and supplemented with solid counsel on drug abuse, written in an easy style and interspersed with anecdotes, poems, and quotations. This inspirational and practical book is easily understood. Guidelines, motivation, and spurs to faith and action are offered in easy-to-take form. The author is a longtime friend and counselor of youth, first reveals in the bittersweet moment of graduation and quickly moves to the question, where to now? Skillfully, he paints a hopeful picture of the opportunities and challenges that comfort young people today. Graduates are encouraged to examine their goals and establish worthwhile and attainable objectives. Motives, responsibilities are explored throughout. Rings the message that complete fulfillment and happiness can be found only in the obedience of God. So that sounds like a very interesting book. Number 8. Book number 9, we have A Pocketful of Hope. This is Daily Devotions for Women by Mary C. Crowley. This is what the book looks like. It's a little bit of writing right there on the jacket. This is a 1981 book, and this is what it says. Mary Crowley lives in a world that speaks the languages of millions, yet she has never lost that breathless quality of an expectation and enthusiasm she exhibited in taking the first step of faith to launch her fledgling business, Home Interiors and Gifts, many years ago. Every life Mary touches feels a nudge of her motivation to achieve, to excel, to be good, to see, and to create beauty, to be somebody because God doesn't take time to make a nobody. She is a strong woman, full of confidence, but her strength and confidence come not from any faith in herself or her own abilities, but rather from a deep, unshakable faith in God and his ability to uphold, sustain, and keep his promises, come what may. She makes a practice of beginning every day in prayer, just talking to the Lord about her joys, her problems, her heart's dreams, her family, her friends, her company, her employees, and associates. Everything that concerns Mary is important enough to talk over with God. This collection of daily devotions from out of Mary's life and heart and dreams has been compiled with sincere hope that each reader will begin a regular practice of starting her day by saying, "Good morning, Lord, it's me," and talking things over with him. So this sounds like a really cute book. So that is book number 9. And the last book we have, book number 10, is called The Chain by Paul Wellman. It's definitely old. See what the book looks like. It's got that aged look. This is a 1949 copyright. And this is what the book is about. A powerful, beautiful novel of a man of God, John Carlyle, a clergyman in Jericho, Texas, and of an indomitable faith through which he inspired the regeneration of a decadent community and achieved his own reputation. And that's all you get. So there you go. Number 10. So with that, thank you for spending your time with me. Don't forget to comment and say hi. Say something. And whatever time zone you're in, I hope you're having a great one. I'll see you soon. Bye.